By asking, oh, there it is. Everyone, just so you know, we're all being recorded. We only say nice things about Justin on the message. Yeah, it's part of the new town things. All committee meetings are being recorded. So, full disclaimer, you're all being recorded. Um, can I get a motion to approve the June minutes?
I move.
Thank you. I'll second it. All those in favor? Anyone oppose it? All right. Justin, I will turn it over to you for some updates.
Great, yeah. So I guess the weekly, I'll just go in order. Weekly meetings with Helen. Linda and I just started doing those 2 weeks ago or a week ago with Helen. Before that, EJ was just meeting with her. So we're actually meeting with Helen today at 11:45. So that's been going well. The water bottle fill station, we got it delivered. We finally got it, and then it was like broken in the delivery. And so we had to order a new one, which I think Linda was saying should be coming, I think maybe coming this week or next week. So that was upsetting that it came and was busted. Um, but
Hey,
that's in
Justin,
the process.
there seems to be a new box, maybe a water filter box at the pool. Is that just the old one that needs to go back? Because I don't know, maybe it's arrived.
That I'll talk with Linda. And I'll actually talk with, I mean, I'm gonna be down at the pool 11:45, so I'll take a look at that. That would be great if it's a new one.
Feel like there's a lot of events coming up this weekend, so to the extent that there can be a push ahead of that would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Then next, the neoprene sleeves for ladders and handrails. I'm gonna talk with Helen about that today at our meeting, and if she thinks that's a good idea and she wants that, I'll talk with EJ. I think we can go ahead and order that.
Where is that coming from? Are people finding it too slippery?
Hallie had brought it up at our last meeting.
Too
Both
hot.
too hot.
Hot. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So to
Yeah, and
speak.
they're not expensive. So I don't really see any issues with it, budget wise. But I'll still talk with, double check with EJ. The back end only signs for the parking lot. Um, I mentioned that I was mentioning that to Linda and EJ and some people. And I'm wondering if the council needs to discuss that, or if the pool committee maybe like recommends that we have those spots back in only before we order them and put that there. Uh,
Yes.
so that was kind of the update with that.
If the what the council wants to know is the pool committee what it recommends. Okay. So just so we can talk about that after if you want, but yes, if the committee wants to recommend it, then it'll go to the council.
Okay. And then in terms of like the signs, yeah, so okay. Um, Early Bird Swim. I made a note for myself. I need to send in the announcements an announcement about how uh it's open for drop-ins to try and get more people. And then I can go ahead and send the calendars to all the early morning swim people just so they have the link more easily so they can take their names out if they know they're going to be out. But that's kind of the update there. Hopefully it's going well. I haven't heard too much.
We
Um,
haven't, to my knowledge, and only you will know this, there has only been one guy who came who dropped in on a day and was a paying customer, and that's Jamie. Is there anybody else? I think we should evaluate this, maybe wait till the end of July, take a look at it and see what we got. And maybe August will just be more because more people go away. So,
Yeah. I did remove myself from the days I'm not there, but I don't know if it's anyone's put anything in.
yeah, so I'll include early bird swim drop in the announcement and link the like the sign up sheet. So if anyone in town wants to do a drop in, they can access it more easily. Water aerobics, not really any updates there. Nothing's really changed since the last pool committee meeting. Um,
Yes,
Off
and
that.
I have a comment to make. This is Hallie. I'm on my phone. I couldn't open the Zoom on my computer. I have signed in regularly on Member Splash. Yet when I get to the pool, I'm supposed to sign in on a list, a paper list, and that's fine. But my name does not ever appear on that paper list. There's about 100 other names or 50 other names. It's sort of did we do this big push to sign up on Member Splash and then not have Member Splash being the vehicle in which we gain access to the pool?
Uh, that's a good question. I'll bring that up at our staff meetings with the
Can I,
mayor.
can I talk about that for a second? I think that that list was provided by Lucy, okay?
Mm-mm.
Don't, no?
Linda, I'll update it. I'll update it.
But I don't know why we have that list. I think what really has to happen is people come down to the pool and they, as the other day, I went to the pool and I had to sign in and was checked off on Member Splash. And I think if Member Splash is down, then we make a paper list. But why do we have there's no reason to have a paper list there anymore. Now, maybe there are a handful of people that can't do Member Splash. So when they come down, then they're signed in from the desk guard. I don't know what the duplication I think is confusing. Am I right, Hallie?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I've signed up in Member Splash. I've already,
You're frozen, Hallie.
am I doing this yet again? And then my name's not on this list. And it's sort of just a little bit of a form of irritation. I mean, I do it, I comply, but it's just like, then why go to Member Splash?
Yeah, my 2 cents is we should get rid of the paper list. And as both Debbie and Hallie were saying, is that if people should be doing the Member Splash, and then if they for whatever reason can't or won't, that's where your office hours or the staff can help them with.
Yep.
Well, but the problem is we've now been doing it for over a month and a half, not doing Member Splash. The incentive to do Member Splash is close to zero. Since it's been required to sign in. I mean, there's just has to be some communication.
Maybe what we do is send out a message to everybody or maybe just to the whole town, and then specifically saying starting August 1st, the paper sign-in will no longer be available, and you must sign in through Member Splash.
And then with a caveat, and if you have trouble and can't, then you can sign in at the pool, but you must be signed in on Member Splash.
And then we've got a 2-week lead up for people to figure it out.
Right.
Okay. That sounds good to me. I guess the office hours for Member Splash. I mean, we kind of talked about that just now. I can offer more of those since we'll be, requiring more Member Splash. The stroking technique. I haven't heard anything there.
Going great.
Yeah, hopefully it's going well. And then the youth council event, the youth council members finally got back to me, and they are gonna try and do a youth council event. So they just need to decide the date. I think they're probably gonna do it in like early August, because our youth council president's heading off to college, and actually a lot of the youth council kids, like 4 or 5 of them, are heading off to college. So that might be a pretty quick turnaround. But I'll try and find a date and then just let Helen know. And then I can let you know as well, when that late night swim will be.
Great.
Yeah. I think that's all I have.
I just have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Matt, you want to go first?
No, you go. I'm going to ask him about something that wasn't on the list, but then also a couple of the things that we just covered.
Going back to your meeting with Helen has anything come up from those meetings that we should know about? You know,
Yeah, let me think. The last meeting we had, I mean, one of them was she mentioned a lot of people were saying there was like a smell at the pool. I don't think there's anything we can really do about that. From the creek, like I think it was coming from the creek. Some other people might have noticed that. I actually, when we met with her last week, I kind of when I walked in, I was like, oh, it kind of smells
Every
kind
year.
of like what was that?
It's every year.
Yeah,
It's the creek. There's nothing we can do about it.
yeah, exactly. So she was saying she was getting some complaints about that. Um, uh, she we're ordering her like a squeegee thing because we've gotten a couple people reached out and said that especially on the humid days, in the locker room it can be like a little slippery. So we're gonna order them a squeegee so that the lifeguards can occasionally go in and I guess
floor.
the floor as best as they can, um, or just make it a little bit better. Um, what else? And then our last pool committee meeting, or sorry, meeting with Helen, we mostly just talked about how we had like the pool inspector come, and just some things that we needed to fix, which we've gotten fixed.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Justin,
Sounds-
do you know where we stand on the vacuum?
The vacuum. Do you know, is that like a proposal from American Pool to get a new vacuum?
I don't, so I don't know I don't know the details. I guess maybe just if you can bring it up with Helen when you meet with her. One of the other lifeguards was saying that like it's just been a nonstop issue this summer with the vacuum. Like one was broken and then they didn't have a battery and then they got the battery, but they didn't have a way to charge the battery. And it's just been, and I feel like, I mean, honestly, I feel like every year we're getting a new vacuum or we're having vacuum issues, but I don't know if you could just raise it with Helen and just sort of see where we're at on that.
Yeah,
Because I
I'll
know
I'll
one of
bring
the
it
guards
up.
was saying,
Um, Off the top of my head, I do believe when we met 2 weeks ago, there were some proposals from American Pool, and I do think one of them had to do with that. And so we've like approved that and ordered that. I just have to double check that it was for the vacuum. But yeah, I'll bring that up when I meet with Helen.
great. Next sort of thing, maybe, and I don't know if this is a Helen thing, but there's still that, I call it ring around the toilet,
Yeah.
ring around the pool.
What is
Okay.
that?
It's from the water being like the water level over the winter. But it's never been like that. And like every year we've had water in the pool over the winter and everything like that, and never have we had this like ring around the pool. And I just feel
Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
so. I mean, I understood it the first week, the second week, but we're
Yeah.
2 months
I would
in.
assume it can be scrubbed out. You
I
know,
would
that
hope so.
the guards have to jump in the water and go around the pool and scrub it. In fact, just this morning, I meant to kind of use my fingers to see if I could scrape it. You know, 'cause I haven't done that, but it really is terrible.
Yeah, I'll mention that as well. Another thing that just came into my mind that I had with the meeting with Helen was that because of the new fence, the ping pong balls they were just losing a ton of ping pong balls because they were going through the fence. So the other day I had our maintenance guys, they put up like a sort of like a netting type thing, like a garden netting on the fence. So hopefully we're not losing as many ping pong balls.
Awesome.
Good
Good
idea.
call.
I think that's good. I think it's good for safety too. I'm actually looking at it right now. You know, so kids don't come in and out. Like for young kids, I think that's tricky, the safety thing. Just keep them in the pool area, which is great.
Yeah.
Double benefit. Nice. On the stroke and technique, can you just confirm with EJ that Kaylin's going to get paid and that you don't need anything more from her / us / me to make sure she gets paid on time? I know she still has I guess 2 more. It goes through the 30th, but just don't want to make sure there's any issues there.
Did she get paid
Yeah.
once, Matt? Like once
Yeah,
at the
just
season?
once at the end. I believe so. That's how it was last year. So that was my assumption, but we all know what happens when you assume. So
Justin, can you put that on the calendar to make sure she gets a check? You know,
Yeah. Here, let me add that to my calendar right now. Let's see. It ends July 30th. Okay.
And then my only other thing that I had, I think for you, Justin, was I know one of the things we've been talking about for a while now is having Russell and Hallie do some like real data analysis. And I think they need from you access to the data.
Okay.
So I don't know how you want to handle that, but I didn't want that to fall off again because I know both of them are biting at the bit, whatever it is, the good old cliche, to do some data analysis for us, both of last year's data and this year's data. So anything you can do to give them access would be great.
Okay.
or to send them the data. You know,
Yeah, or just send them whatever.
As many
whatever.
years data as you have. No need to stop with last year if you have more.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna move the back end only discussion to right now, and then we'll jump into the rest of the stuff. So this was the idea basically when you walk into the pool, the parking spots that are on the right, to have those be back in only to make it again just safer. We're already addressing the ones that are on the left, not the ones around the corner. The ones around the corner can be whatever, but the ones immediately that in essence pull out into the crossing, the walkway. A couple of years ago we had made the recommendation that they be back in only. I can't remember if we did it last year as well, but I guess it sounds like we need to formally. So I'm going to make a motion that we recommend the council make those spaces back in only and put up signs.
sounds good.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Anyone feel opposed to it? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, you got it. You need anything more from us on that, Justin, Debbie?
I don't think so. I think Justin,
Right.
you need to get it on the agenda. That's all. Yeah.
Great.
On Zoom.
All
Yeah.
right, next thing I think on the agenda was the Olympics, which is Sunday. Russell, do you want to say anything about that right now?
Just a little bit. So we moved it up. We had scheduled it historically, and then on our banners at the pool, starting at 1:30 and running till roughly 5 o'clock. But because the World Cup finals start at 3, we pushed everything up to start at noon. So that means it'll just be from noon to 3. I've already had people ask about, can I still lap swim during that time? And I told them absolutely, there'll always be a lane available, and they can either contact me or the lifeguards, and we'll, make sure that there's a lane available.
Right.
The other thing is we're not going to do the water aerobics group is not going to do what I've called synchronized swimming, or I forget what the new name is at the Olympics for synchronized swimming, water dancing or something. Yeah, we just weren't able to get it all to work this year between contracting the instructor and changing the times and Lucy being on vacation and everything. So we're going to start directly with the younger kids / grown-ups events. And then the final point is, because we moved it up to noon, historically, I should say historically, the first 3 years we did it, we kind of ended towards the end of the events with ice cream. And Walt, who was my co-conspirator on putting on the Olympics, would always go to the University of Maryland Creamery and get tubs and tubs of delicious ice cream. We don't have Walt to do that this year, and since we're starting earlier, I think we're just going to provide pizza so that the kids, starting at noon, they won't have to go home for lunch or something like that. So hopefully that'll make it easy for people to come. And judging by the crowds of people watching the semifinals, at least from what I heard at the pool, the World Cup semifinals, hopefully we can transition straight from the Olympics to the World Cup finals, and everybody will just be there and have a lot of fun. So that's the current plan. But happy to ask and answer any questions.
Great. Justin, when you meet with Helen, would you remind her that it is one of the responsibilities of the lifeguards to ensure that people are only eating in the designated eating areas?
Yeah, actually already had that as something to talk with her about. But yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'll be manning the microphone, so I'll remind people too. But
Great.
yeah, I'm sure I won't. My focus won't be exclusively on monitoring pizza eating.
Nor should it be.
Right.
I will help you on any of that, Russell. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, and if any of you want to come and be judges for the cannonball / belly flop / diving contests, we'd love to have celebrity judges from the pool committee.
Celebrity. Oh, good.
Yes.
I'll tell you, Russell, I had a very upset daughter when she realized that she's not going to be at the Olympics.
No.
She's like, wait, we have to leave before the Olympics? I'm missing the Olympics? And I was like,
Wow.
Yeah, she was pretty pissed off. So you
I'm
started something really
happy to
good.
hear that.
Anyone have any questions about the Olympics? Awesome.
And I want to give credit to Jeff Buteau, who's been helping out a lot this year. And I've got my eye on him for taking the lead next year and switching to a secondary role for me.
Does he know that?
I'm not sure. I'm going to talk to him about it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Sounds good.
Great. All right. Brian, you want to give a quick swimathon recap?
Yes, as soon as I unmute. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, from us, just thanks so much to everybody. It'd be great to get everyone's feedback, but from the organizer's perspective, it was fantastic. From the very beginning, with the pool committee helping with ideas, the swim team coming in with great ideas. I think it worked out better. To do the 12-hour split between the two countries was just a brilliant idea that worked out really, really well. Then during the day, everybody showed up, from little kids to old kids to the founder of the Dolphins was there at the end. And so many swimmers, so many of those kids who stayed in there. I don't know if everybody saw this, but so many kids who stayed in there literally for hours, because we put up kind of a top 10 list for who had put the most time in, and they got really into it. So that was great. And then we raised almost up to $13,000 now.
Wow.
So it was fantastic, and just appreciate everybody's help and input and showing up. Can't thank you enough. So that's, we've sent out thank you notes to everybody, or almost everyone. We've sent stuff. Delia has sent stuff out on the listserv to give people an update. And Delia was also working on, with Matt and Ann, working on an article for the upcoming Town Journal. So that's where that stands. But again, really, really would appreciate any feedback that you all have.
Great.
I thought it worked well, except for the food, Brian, needle. But that will lead us into our next discussion when we're done talking. I want to talk about why you didn't know you couldn't have food under the tent. Okay? So after everyone's done, I'd like to talk about that. That's in general. It's just not picking on Brian. It's about events. So other than that, it looked great. People looked happy swimming away.
Yeah. I still can't believe Tom Wall did 5 hours, 23 minutes. But
What shape was he in the next day?
fine, which is the other thing. It's like,
How old is he? How
He's like-
old?
He's like 9 or something. What is he?
yeah, he did IM at the B meet last night. Totally fine. Like, I mean, it's like,
He's like 9 years old. He kept getting out, and his dad was like, "Well, okay. I mean, if you don't want to be top on the leaderboard," and then he get back in. He wanted to beat his brothers. I guess. He has older brothers.
he does. He has two older brothers.
Yeah.
One of which is pretty high up in the dolphin swimming, and
Right.
it's also really nice for them because they are leaving us, sadly.
Right. Right.
So they're moving back to England, and basically like right after divisionals.
Right.
So it's like it's sort of like a last hurrah from their standpoint.
Yeah. So happy they showed up as a family was really great, and a lot of families did that way. So that was great. We had, I guess, we were doing the full count last night. I think it was 44 swimmers in the end, and 100,000 meters, roughly speaking, swum by the 44 swimmers. Yeah.
That's amazing. Great. All right. So as Debbie alluded to, the next thing that wasn't on the original agenda, but Debbie asked me to add, is a discussion around events in general, and a checklist that sort of feel like this might a little fall more to Helen and Justin, your meeting with her, but just what sort of checklists are the lifeguards / Helen making sure anyone who wants to have an event at the pool. And then I think there's also a further discussion, and not to steal your thunder, Debbie, but as far as like, do we need to, in the off season, when we look at the rules, redefine an event? Because one of the things that's, kind of interesting is, technically, according to the pool rules, the swimathon, and it was Helen that actually was the one that pointed this out when we tried to fill out paperwork. The swimathon didn't count as an event at the pool. The Olympics doesn't count as an event at the pool under the definition in the pool rules. So I think that's more for the off season because we're obviously not going to change it during the summer. But Debbie, I don't know what specifically you want to bring up with us, but that's sort of where, to lead into the addition to the agenda.
Yeah, it was just to get our antenna up that in the off season, we do need to look at the rules. And, as Matt said, we need to define what an event is. And I don't think an event has to be just like a birthday party. But Swimathon was our best example. That was an event. And had we had a checklist that we would have handed to Brian and Delia, they would have known no food under the tent, but they didn't, but I'm sure you didn't realize it, Brian, because that leads me into that most people do not read the pool rules. And that's another thing in the off season we want to talk about is how do we ensure that people read the pool rules? How do we make that happen? And I have some ideas and we can talk about that later on. But
does that hold for like if I'm just a random person in an afternoon sitting in a chair under the tent, am I allowed to be having a snack, or is it just events?
No, Brian.
So it holds for all the swimmers, the swim team when they're sitting, and the visiting teams as well.
I don't think.
And it's like we always tell the visiting teams, like your team area is here, but food must be consumed in the eating area.
Yeah,
and there are two eating areas. But Brian, that you really showed me when I said people don't read the rules. Had you read the pool rules, you would have known that. But I'm not picking on you. You're just illustrating my point that people don't read them. And maybe what we have to do is our rules are pages long, and maybe we need to find a condensed version so people will read them and understand it. We have a very clean pool. We're very lucky. But there are rodents all around our pool. Last summer I swam with one, okay? In the early morning swim. It was not pleasant, and I'm trying to think of somebody fished it out who was our hero. But if we allow food all over the place, we're going to have rodents as regular customers. And we are lucky to have this clean pool and this clean area. So I think we have to follow the food rule. And I know, during probably the banquet and sometimes the swim team stuff, it falls apart a little. But a good example was, on Sunday, one of the swim parents walked to the tent with a big plate of food. he got cake from the cake-a-thon or whatever it was,
Dessert
and
contest.
and I said, you can't eat here. And he goes, well, yes, I can. I'm going to, and it was kind of like, screw you, and that wasn't nice. But, it's just maybe he didn't know either, or he just wanted to flout the rules. I don't know.
But
So,
again, that sort of circles back, Justin, to this really, like, the guards know this, and Helen knows this, and this really needs to be like, it shouldn't be on Debbie, it shouldn't be on Russell at the Olympics. Like, the guards, if they see someone eating where they're not supposed to be eating, they need to tell them, and they need to say, look, if you either you eat where you're allowed to eat, and there's a lot of places, just so everybody does know, like, you've got the whole covered area where by the kitchen, you've got the extension to that where we now have the small white tent set up permanently with all those picnic tables. Food is totally fine in that encased area. And then also the upper deck, food is all allowed up there. So, like, there's plenty of places. And it's got to be on the guards and the manager to be like, look, either go to one of the places you can or leave.
and the morning
It shouldn't be on
manager,
Debbie.
the morning manager should have picked up that there was food under the tent for the swimathon. And when I showed up at 4 o'clock, I did say something to Brian, but I wasn't about to tell the manager to come out and clean them up. The event was going on. There's no time to do that. At the very beginning, we could have said, hey, move your food up to the tables, right by, the stairs, and that would be kosher, but I wasn't going to do that at 4 o'clock. And I just thought, well, it's going on. We'll clean this up later. And it illustrated a problem we have. That's all. Not a big problem. We can work this out. So, and it looks like Russell wants to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say, so first, I mean, Matt and Debbie, you're absolutely not wrong, but this is a rule that has been observed in the breach for the vast majority of the time that I've been involved in the pool. Every single swim meet I've been to has Somerset Dolphins food right by the pool that's provided by the swim team. And so if I am, not strictly looking at the rules and thinking about them independently of my own lived experience, I would never have thought that food was not allowed right next to the pool, because I've seen it so many times.
Right.
So I think that we need to be realistic, that we can't just come in and say, excuse me, didn't you know that there's no food allowed? Right? We have to be very gentle and kind and say, I know that you've done this for years. I know that you weren't aware that this is the rule, but it is, and it's important, right? So the approach, I think, is very important in this, because it's been so vastly ignored as a rule in the past. Vastly ignored.
I think you're right. And I think we can clean it up for next season. I'm not going whole hog on this right now, but I think we will talk to Helen about making sure the guards begin to do their job if they see it, hopefully. But we'll be more aggressive next year in how we introduce this and trying to just get people to buy in. Be
But
our
I don't like the word aggressive, right? I mean, this is part of what I'm saying is,
okay. No,
we
but
need to
proactive.
make sure it's there, but we need to do it in a way. This is a big transition from the way most people have operated at the pool, including the swim team, for decades. So we need to be gentle about it. That's all I'm saying.
When I say aggressive, I don't mean on the ground. I mean as we develop our policies, we have to think about it more aggressively. How are we going to do this and do it right? So we have partners. We want people to be our partners. This is our pool, and how do you want your pool to be? That's what I mean. I'm not talking about I'm going out with my little cop thing on, and
Can I add something? This is Kathy. I don't, why couldn't there just be one large, professionally made, but sign that goes up for 6 months or something, starting next year or whenever that people cannot miss? If this is so flagrantly violated, we don't need to have all the rules posted, but just that one.
Right.
And mount it on the fence, mount it where the swim teams can see it, but it would be temporary, but it would be during this time where we begin to enforce it.
It's a good idea. This should be one
Yeah,
of the.
and I would add the no glass rule to that as well. I think that's an important one. But also, like, I mean, I think I literally sign off every article I write for the town journal with no glass at the pool, and yet there continues to be glass at the pool. So
Right. Well, I think we can do this in the off season, think of the best way to do it, and then, change the rules if need be, and go for next season. Just something to think about now.
yeah, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. Is that a standard policy for all pools in Montgomery County, all sort of private club pools? I'm just curious because, echoing what some others have said, it honestly didn't even occur to me.
Right.
And I was thinking exactly the same thing about the snack table that's set up every swim meet for the volunteers. And I just wonder, like, is it standard? What would happen if we relaxed that rule for a year and saw that, what happened, or is it well documented that it just sort of destroys the pool? I don't have enough experience to know, but it did seem like a natural thing for people to be able to be sitting in a lawn chair under that tent and, having some, obviously not swim. Look, not swimming around with food in your hand when you're in the pool, right? But, in certain other areas, having that opportunity. Just a question.
Justin, maybe that's something to ask Helen when you have your meeting about.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I'm most afraid of the rodents, that people, if we do it under the tent, people will innocently drop food. It happens. And I'm afraid we're going to be feeding the rodents and encouraging their participation. We might have to give them like membership cards, So that's really where I sit. I worry about the rodents. And had I not been swimming with one last year, it wouldn't be so paramount for me, But let's talk to Helen, see what she thinks.
Yeah.
But it is been a tradition at swim meets back in the day when my kids swam and I was clerk of course and never left, that somebody would bring me something both to eat and drink at some point. And I consumed it way back as the clerk. So it is something that has been traditionally happening at the pool for years. But I think there's a difference when it's a swim meet versus all the regular time when you don't bring food back there. So just an observation.
Yeah, I agree with you. Any other comments, thoughts, questions? Great. All right. Well,
Sorry, it took me a while to come off mute there. Just the comment I have there is, it would be very hard to enforce on the Dolphin swim team.
Yeah.
While maybe they wouldn't be the same enforcement on the visiting team. I just don't see how you enforce that on visiting teams. And then you in a situation where the Dolphins are following the rule and the visiting team is not. So that's just something for us to think about.
I don't think it's hard to clean up a visiting team. I know when I was the rep, when we would go to a pool, when we were the visitors, we were quite clear with everyone to follow their rules. And it's really on the reps to make sure that their team follows our rules. I don't think that's so hard to do.
And I would say, generally speaking, the way teams are really good about it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is that their area, like their team area, is literally right next to the eating area. So like they just only have to walk a couple steps and they're in the eating area. So I think that's, pretty easy. That doesn't concern me quite as much. And yeah, I'm always happy to have a conversation with their reps and make sure they're following that part of it. I do think as Hallie was alluding to, because it was funny, like I just didn't even think about it, but the volunteer snacks is maybe the big sort of question mark there, and we need to figure out a better way to handle that. And I definitely welcome Helen's input as far as what she thinks is she might come back to us and say, look, you're going to have no difference in rodents whether they're eating there or whether they're eating in the upper deck. And that's the other thing I was thinking about is the upper deck, yes, it's still it's up from the pool, but it is still right next to it. And plenty of food I'm sure can drop there, and the rodents up there aren't going to necessarily stay up there just because it's up there. So I don't know. I definitely welcome Helen's thoughts. Again, I don't think we do anything to change our rules for this summer. I think the rules are the rules, and the lifeguards should be enforcing them as they're written. But I would love to get her take on other pools and sort of see where that falls out. Because, maybe we do, can carve out a different eating area, or maybe we shouldn't. And who knows, maybe we should get rid of the upper deck. I don't know these things. I think we've got to talk to the people that know better than us.
I think it's an interesting point, Matt, to ask her, what are the other pools? What are their rules? Are they in sync on the food business, or is it whatever? It would just be interesting to know what other pools do.
Yeah.
How they keep them clean.
Good. Anything else anyone else wants to bring up?
Oh, we do have one thing. The early morning swim. Can I just talk about what happened this week?
Sure.
One of our town residents, an older gentleman, and when I say older, I'm older. He's much older than me, okay? And he wanted to come and walk in the shallow water while we were swimming. And we've been over this before because we had another resident who wanted to join us and just swim in the shallow end, and we only have one lifeguard, and we would need two lifeguards to make that happen. And so I think also in the off season, something for us to think about is, where do we want this morning swim to go? Do we just want to keep it like it is? And it's been really successful and worked well. But do we want to open this up and make it just a town thing? The pool's open from 7:15 to 8:15, and we got to hire two guards. So there can be, but we can clarify that it's just lap swimming, or we're including, because we're going to hire two guards, we're going to include shallow exercising, that kind of thing. But I think it's time for us to have that discussion. I hate to fix something that's not broken, but my heart went out to this guy. Sorry, no lifeguards, you can't do this. Come at 10 o'clock, kind of thing. But anyway, this is a discussion, and I will bring it up to Helen too. Does she think that could they staff two guards? Could they essentially open the pool at 7:15 as opposed to 10 o'clock? Because that's essentially what this would be. Once you bring in two guards, is my guess. I don't know. We got to talk about it. So anyway, wanted to share that.
Thanks for sharing that, Debbie. It sounds like we can consider the other options on the off season, but my just knee-jerk reaction to what you shared was, I don't know if this is an outlier case or if there's actually exceeding demand for more people. And I would hate to change something just for an outlier. And I would rather propose a solution for this gentleman, like to sign up for morning swim and
Right.
like,
And that's what I'm going to tell him.
yeah.
I spoke with Justin yesterday to figure out where there was room, and there's room Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to do this. And I'm gonna tell him, come on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with me, because I walk in the water. And I walk in one of the lanes on those days, and he can come walk with me. Other people do come in and walk with me. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, and lane one's still pretty shallow.
Right. You could get over to lane one. And so no, I love the system the way it is. That's why I say I hate to fix what's not broken, but it is a conversation. And you're right. I think we have two outliers so far, but would more people want to come exercise in the shallow end? I don't know. So anyway, we'll talk about it in the off season. Just putting it in your bonnet. Be in your bonnet. Okay. That's all I got.
Justin, one question for you. Do you still, since the meeting's recorded, do you still need/want me to write up minutes and send them out? Or do we just, now that the meeting's recorded, we don't need that?
Well, so this will serve as the official minutes, but I do think having like sort of like an action items, more like informal minutes is good. And I can put that on the website as well. So
Okay.
I guess yes, but it doesn't have to be as thorough.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need minutes, because not everybody is going to go and watch a full hour's worth of meetings, an hour of a meeting, but it takes 2 minutes to read the minutes.
If we
So
have a transcript, can AI create minutes for us? It certainly can in my work.
I was just trying to figure that out when we started because I have terrible handwriting and I take notes and then I can't read my handwriting. So this meeting is being transcribed now. I have no idea when I'm done how I'm going to capture that. You know, will it come
Chat,
to
chat,
you
you
know,
know,
If someone can
any of
extend,
these, yeah, any of these, ChatGPT, Claude will do a very good job with the transcript and creating minutes to your specifications if you want them to be short. It also does a surprisingly good job of identifying action items. I mean, Matt, you're probably already using it at work anyway, but yeah, just such a time saver. Of course, you have to review it and make slight edits, but it is remarkable what it can do with transcripts.
I
Use,
wonder,
yeah.
I just wonder if all the other committees would be interested in this, and this is something we can formalize, not overnight, but maybe I hate to put more things on your list, Justin. Was there any way to figure out how everybody can take advantage of such a Claude or a ChatGPT note taker when we do these?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bring that up at our staff meeting because we actually are talking about that because we just had a meeting with like a tech company that the Maryland Municipal League is like recommending a lot of towns in Maryland speak with about AI, and it'll be coming to a work session soon, an AI policy that the town's gonna we're going to want to pass an AI policy because that's what's recommended. It'll be good. So that is something that we're like talking about and how we're going to integrate AI and also the rules and uh, parameters around that.
So as far as like today goes, would someone need to then like someone export the transcript to ChatGPT or
so for today, bearing policy that Justin brought up, if someone has the transcript, whether it's automatically saved by the host or we can export it, I'm happy to take that transcript and get AI notes for that. In the future, there is a Zoom functionality that automatically, based on our conversation, would summarize it in notes for us. I doubt we opted into that functionality today. So for today, if we have transcript,
And we might. I'm looking at it now being written down. It's telling me I have to sign in to save this. It's not my Zoom account that I'm on. I'm on Jamie's Zoom account. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen.
so yes, if you're the host, Debbie, and you sign in, it should give you a recording
Yeah.
and
I think
some.
technically Justin's the host.
Well, we don't know if I know I'm recording it because I bumped into this when I went to sign in. I went to, to log on. So I was hoping that this would give us a transcript. And if I can get it, if I can figure out how to sign in, right, it was asking me some crazy questions when I was first trying to sign in, then I will send it to you, Alexis.
That's no problem. Yep.
Great. Awesome. Love it. All right. Last thing on my list is if, again, we've got our August meeting just to try and have as many people as possible attend. If you can go ahead and send me dates that are good, dates that are bad, dates that are impossible.
The week of what?
Well, so like anytime after, like, let's say the week of hold on. We'll do 2 weeks worth. The week of the 17th or the week of the 24th. So yeah, if you all can send me good days, bad days, those 2 weeks, I will then play Tetris and figure out the time that most people can attend.
Okay. Got it.
Is there any way, Matt, of having the meeting later in the day?
Yeah. I want to be mindful of Justin's schedule as far as like, I don't want to force him to attend an evening meeting that's outside of his normal business hours, but could certainly do like, a 3 o'clock or a 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I guess, I'll send you my dates, but I'm away on vacation those 2 weeks, and I know that I could sneak in a morning meeting. I'll never make an afternoon meeting, most likely. But
And I'll never make a morning meeting.
you did so well today, Hallie.
Yeah, but that's because I just came from the hospital. So,
Okay.
I didn't have anything else to do. That's
All right.
not usually the case in the morning.
All right.
So,
Debbie, when do you leave?
The 9th or the 10th.
Okay.
The question is, when am I coming back? I'm not sure.
All right.
I'll probably come back around the 24th-ish.
All right. So then how about we just look at the week of the 24th?
Okay.
Make everybody's life a little bit easier.
Okay. I know, Russell, you're going away. I know where you're going. I heard about that this morning. When are you coming back?
We'll be back in time for these. We're going the first 2 weeks of August. So
Okay.
yeah, it should be don't worry about me, Matt.
All right. So let's everybody look at the week of the 24th. Send me good days, bad days, good times, bad times, and we'll cobble it from there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Anyone have anything else? All right. Well,
I want to add one little bit of humor regarding eating at the deck. Back when I was a swim team parent, and Missy Reingruber and I we did snacks and probably for almost 10 years between all the kids getting out, and we cooked on the deck.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. We had hot plates. We would make pancakes. But so has been it's really been it's really been around for a long time. I'll say that.
Yeah. And so who knows? Maybe this is an arbitrary rule that we can change.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I love the idea of you out there with a hot plate cooking pancakes, though. That's just going to make my day for the rest of today.
Oh yeah, it was something. It was something.
I was picturing you actually pouring the batter on the concrete because it was so hot and it would just be sizzling there. Now that we would have to draw the line at that, I think.
To that point, Brian, at the July 4th, the egg toss, there were some eggs that broke on the concrete, or not on the basketball court, that started cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I can imagine.
Wow.
Good times. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And,
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
thanks, everyone.
Bye.
11 o'clock exactly.